And once again, thanks to my considerable abilities, I am the champion, and it falls to me to pass judgment upon your little earth. Hello there everyone, and welcome back down here to the Gamer's Den with me, your host, Jordan, your master of lore and storyteller extraordinaire, here to keep on going with our look at the first edition Pathfinder Wizard. Today we're going to be going over their class features, their class abilities, and while they don't have a whole complete total suite of them like some other classes do, they more than make up for it with what they do have and the vast array of spells that they can have at their beck and call. Now, before we get into all of that, if you're new here to the channel, go on down there, hit the subscribe button, and become a regular member here at the Gamer's Den. Or if you've already gone on ahead and listed yourself on just such an incredible roster of legendary heroes, then go on down to hit the like button and share the video far and wide. Now, let's go ahead and get into this. And to kick things off, as a wizard, you are going to get 1d6 hit dice per level. You are supremely squishy. You also get 2 skill ranks plus your intelligence modifier per level. Now, while 2 skill ranks does feel a bit pitiable, remember that if you're following this guide, you're looking at about an 18 to 20 for your intelligence score, so that's anywhere from another 4 to 5 skill ranks. Top it off, if you're human, you're getting an extra rank per level, so you're going to have more than enough to really make use of a broad range of different skills. Even if you wanted to say follow Captain Crank's suggestions and thoughts on skills, which perfectly valid, definitely makes some excellent points, you do have the skill ranks to kind of spread around in that regard. Now, when it comes to your saves, you're going to have poor fortitude saves and reflex saves, so things like poisons, dodging other area of effect type of things, or traps, those are going to be areas where you are very vulnerable unless you're making very judicious, very careful use of your magic. Then you also have goodwill saves, so you're going to resist illusions, mind control effects, things like that. You also, though, have a very, very bad attack bonus progression, starting off at a 0 at level 1, then a +1, +1, +2, +2, increasing in this fashion as you advance. So you are not going to be fighting in melee in most instances, unless something's gone horribly wrong. Everything's gone pear-shaped and belly up. It's a bad look if the wizard's having to get down and dirty in the thick of the melee. But you are proficient with the club, dagger, heavy and light crossbow, and the quarterstaff. Most of those are going to be useless for you. You want the light crossbow as a backup, particularly at early levels. The fact that you have a decent dexterity score is going to help. Just bear in mind your bad attack bonus is going to leave you very much at the whims of fate and chance with the d20. Now, when it comes to actually casting spells, you use your intelligence score and must have a score equal to 10 plus the spell level you intend to cast. Save DCs for spells are 10 plus spell level plus your intelligence modifier, so it's definitely helpful to have that boosted up, though it does need to be pointed out, and was pointed out in one of the comments on one of the previous videos, that some of your best spells are not going to have saves available to them. So that's something that you definitely want to keep in the forefront of your mind. You're also a prepared arcane spellcaster with a full spell progression up to 9th level spells. What that means is that every night or whatever time it is before you go to rest, you need to take time to study and prepare your spells and commit them to your incredible vault-like memory. Your spell book is what you're going to be preparing spells from, and you can learn other spells from scrolls or other books, as well as learning a few more as you advance in level. So absolutely great to have, and any other sources, any other bonuses that you have are only going to be that much more valuable for you, and will really do a lot to expand your repertoire and what you are capable of at any given time that you're allowed to prepare. Then, going on from there to your first level ability, we have Arcane Bond. You pick either a familiar or an item, and the item has to be either an amulet, ring, staff, wand, or weapon. I would say going familiar is going to be the most useful, and here's why. Bonded items are always masterwork quality, and attempting to cast without it forces a DC 20 plus spell level concentration check. Once a day, the wizard can cast any one spell in their spellbook, even if it's not prepared, but cannot be modified by metamagic feats. Damaged items are restored when the wizard prepares spells. However, if the item's destroyed, it can be replaced 1 week later with a ritual that costs 200 gold pieces per wizard level and the cost of the masterwork item on top of it. Now, replacing a familiar follows a very similar path, but you can see a massive problem with this already. If you lose the item, you are going to be royally screwed, or at least severely hampered. And if you are going to select an item, an amulet or particularly a ring are going to be most useful, because everything else can potentially be stolen pretty readily by any kind of a capable pickpocket. They can be destroyed by somebody with the sunder feat that goes out of their way to attack your equipment. So a familiar, while a familiar can still be vulnerable in many different ways, is still going to be more survivable than items because, well, they're able to move and the like. So that's something to very much keep in mind. Now, as far as what you get when you go with a familiar advances in hit dice as the caster advances in level, gaining a natural armor bonus, increases to intelligence, and abilities such as alertness, which is basically the feat that gives a bonus to perception checks, improved evasion, share spells, empathic link at first level, deliver touch spells at third level, on and on and on, and they get more as they advance as well. But already right off the bat there, they are much more useful than an item, being able to make perception checks, and they're much more able to survive and evade area of effect attacks like fireball or lightning bolt. Familiars also gain grant a bonus to their master when they are within a 1 mile radius and on the same plane. A +4 bonus to initiative is a great go-to, but just bear in mind that there's a lot of other things there, like bonuses to hit points, fortitude, reflex, or will saves, various other skills. So it's going to depend largely on whatever kind of theme or build you're going with for your character, whatever fits the personality and motif that you've crafted for your character. It is your character after all. That said, a bonus to initiative is always a boon for a spellcasting class, particularly a full spellcaster. Because right here, without having to spend a feat, counting in the +2 dexterity modifier, you're looking at a +6 to your initiative. If you have any other bonuses coming in, such as, well, if you were to take the improved initiative feat, you're looking at a +10 right off the bat. So you're at the very least going to be going middle of the pack most of the time when rolling initiative, if not near the top or the very top itself. And remember, the cream of the crop always levitates to the top. Anyways, bad impressions out of the way, we keep going on to the next first level ability, Arcane School. A wizard can choose to specialize in a school of magic, and doing so requires selecting 2 opposition schools. Spells from the opposition school take 2 spell slots to prepare, so a fireball would take 2 third-level spell slots, and any skill checks made to craft a magic item with a spell from an opposition skill takes a -4 penalty. But in return, the wizard gains a 1st level power, an 8th level power, and an additional spell slot for each level of spell that they can cast. So that offsets it pretty nicely there, especially since you're not completely locked out or restricted from other schools like in previous editions of D&D. While that did have a certain amount of flavor and feel to it that was definitely very, very cool, or at least I thought so, it still could present a bit of a challenge overall. And for the last of the first level abilities, we have Scribe Scroll. Create a scroll of any spell that you know, taking 2 hours if its base price is 250 gold pieces or less. Otherwise, it takes 1 day for each 1,000 gold pieces in its price. And this is well worth the cost of doing, because This is how you are going to be able to keep those incidental spells on hand and ready to go. For example, a point of disagreement between Captain Crank and I was on the linguistics skill. Nothing wrong with that. He certainly presented a lot of valid points. However, you can put tongues as a scroll and have access to that at a moment's notice. So you have magical solutions for a lot of issues or dilemmas that might come up that you're not otherwise prepared for. Just having some spells on scrolls handy as a backup just in case, particularly utility spells, you are going to be well served each and every time, even if you have to sit on those scrolls for a couple of adventures. Now lastly, we jump straight to the capstone ability, and it's the alternate capstone. It's well prepared. 2 additional cantrips, 6 first level and second level spell slots, 4 third and fourth level spell slots, 2 fifth level and 1 sixth level spell slot. Otherwise, it's a bonus feat, and you get bonus feats at the same pace, or at a similar pace as other classes. I don't know why I said similar pace, but point is you get some feats that you can either take with feats or use arcane discoveries, and we'll go over arcane discoveries next time, but this is well worth a feat. If your DM lets you, and I can see reasons why they wouldn't, but personally I would let a player select this because it's a level 20 campaign and it's a wizard. Come on. This is a great ability. I highly recommend you take this at every time that you come up to it. It's definitely worth having. But what do you think? Go on down to the comments below and let me know your thoughts. Did you like today's video? Did you dislike it? Let me know either way and voice your opinion in the comments down below, and we'll engage in discussion. Don't forget to hit those like or dislike buttons, and remember, if you're new here to the channel, then go on down there, hit the subscribe button, and become a regular member here at the Gamers Den. With all that said, I've been your host, Jordan, your master of lore and storyteller extraordinaire. Thank you all so very much for your time, and you all have yourselves a good night.